Hi, my name is Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to quickly go over the ultimate real estate fundraising database that has been updated for 2025. So this video is a little different than some of the longer form videos that I've done. It gets right to the point. I've been working on a fundraising initiative for a real estate group that's looking to raise $10 million in the USA, and over the past 3 months, yes, 3 months, we've been formulating what we would call a very refined list of contacts that we're going to do outreach for. Now, is it possible to buy these type of databases? Well, you can buy databases on the market for sure, but you're never going to buy anything that's as refined as this. This is a database that has really specifically been made for fundraising in the real estate sector. So I want to go through it reasonably quickly, and I've kept everything confidential, so there's no way that we can bring this back to any particular client. It's a client that has engaged me to help them out. I have a lot of databases on my Fiverr profile, but this is one of those ones that's more custom and comes off the back of a actual fundraising mandate. So we start off with these red bands here, and you can see fund managers in Asia, and then investment advisors. So who are they basically? So these are the people who are the gatekeepers of capital for institutional groups, family offices, and so on and so on, ultra high net worth investors, obviously. The investment advisors, for example, have around 800,000 individual investors that they put particular opportunities in front of, where they manage their finances. So that's a really key group. And then of course the fund managers, well, those are the key managers who have access to running mandates. In other words, they have the funds and they're ready to deploy, and that's the perfect route to get to them. So let's talk about those pathways. So the pathway, for example, is to the investor itself. So you think of how many people are in between the real estate group that we're doing the outreach for and the final investor. So the shorter the path, the easier it's going to be to raise funds. So these are really easy because the pathway to the investor is to the fund manager themselves or the investment advisor. So that's real key. What's the strategic value? So what I do is I rank those as, if we had to only go after a certain amount of investors in this particular project, work project that I put together, they're called tier 1, and if we only had to go after one group, this would be the best group. So if we move down the ladder here, you can see we've got yellow, we've got prime, secondary, and opportunistic. So if we were to take a look at what's prime, well, prime are private placement agents. Those are really key groups that only are interested in fundraising. So they're not interested in your company, they're not interested in getting to know you, they're just the real key contacts that can help you raise capital quickly. Now the problem is they do come at a higher fee, but if you really need to raise the funds, sometimes it's going to be a trade-off. Then you have private equity firms. Now I've gone through over 850 private equity firms in the USA alone, and I've picked 380 that specifically have said they look at real estate opportunities. And then family investment offices, well, this is another database that I have, and it's probably the only person that has the largest database of family investment offices in the USA. And what I've done is I've narrowed it down to ones that have specifically said that they're going to look at real estate investments. Now, this real estate investment does have a couple other impact areas that can broaden that out a little bit further, so they fall within that 920 offices. So what are these? These are prime. How do we get to them? Well, we get to the investor via the private placement agency, or the private equity firm, or the family investment office. Again, it just shows the gatekeeper here, so we understand how we're going to formulate the investor outreach letter, because they're all going to be different. Now we move on to some other specialty categories: investment banks, angel investors in the real estate sector, and investment companies that specifically look at real estate. These are secondary ones, still important, but nowhere near as important as the top two tiers up here, tier 1 and the prime. They're pretty self-explanatory. I have a database of investment banks that specifically cater to the real estate sector. We're going to approach each of them individually, try to find out who we can contact, to be able to present our opportunity to them and see if they're interested in helping us raise capital. Sometimes there's fees involved, sometimes it's on a success fee, or sometimes even a retainer. Angel investors, really quickly, these are the top 160 angel investors in the USA that look at big real estate investments, and then investment companies. Again, we've covered that off. Lastly, now these are opportunistic, what I call, one email shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, great. I've got real estate developers and international database that's really key. I've got some Middle East exposure here for venture capital and private equity. There's a lot of Middle East capital that is interested in the USA now, especially since the last few months. The situation has changed politically, which may or may not, depending on how you look at it, be something that's attractive for Middle East investments. You can check the news in the past 3-4 months and you can see an awful lot of them have started to look back at the USA because there seems to be more of a focus on opening the doors to cross-border investment. And lastly, I have a high net worth, ultra high net worth database. It's a database I've refined. There's no one else in the world that has this list, and it is all property focused. So these investors have a track record of investing in real estate investments. They are interested in global opportunities, and the USA may or may not be on their target list. Again, opportunistic basically just means I'm not going to spend too much time on them. We're going to send them out one email only. We're not going to get too cute about how it's personalized. It's just basically a one-shot opportunity. Whereas these ones up here are going to be very focused. So again, outreach letter. What does that give us total? It gives us almost 30,000 contacts to go out to. Now, we're going to go out to all of them. Probably going to be a 4-month exercise. Other than these ones in the opportunistic part, they're all going to be individual, and the most important focus are going to be on these two areas here. So that's the way that you would create a database if you were looking to do a professional outreach program, looking to raise capital for a real estate group, especially if you're in between the $10 million and $50 million range. Do you need help with your fundraising? Click my Fiverr link below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.